Gardeners are constantly being sold on another gadget, tool, or clever invention that's supposed to help them grow better plants. After more than 25 years of gardening on my own 2-acre property and managing a local garden center, I've learned that some products are absolutely worth every penny, and plenty are not. The good news? You don't need to spend a fortune to have a thriving garden. A few well-chosen essentials can make a huge difference, whether that's a tool that saves you time, a potting mix that helps plants thrive, or a fertilizer that actually delivers results. Today, I'm sharing the garden products I genuinely think are worth buying. These are the items I've used myself, recommended countless times, and seen make a real difference in gardens year after year. And if you'd like to take a closer look at any of them, I've included links in the video description for easy reference. They're not in any particular order, although I'd encourage you to stick around for the last item on my list. It's more for supporting wildlife than growing plants, but it has almost eliminated one outdoor cleaning chore that I used to dread. Let's start with one tool that almost doesn't look like a gardening tool, the Hori knife. This tool has multiple uses and becomes incredibly handy for a wide range of tasks. It can help pull weeds, dig holes, cut roots, harvest crops, and create clean slits in the soil for planting seeds. The measurements on the blade are also especially useful when planting fall bulbs at the correct depth. A good Hori knife typically costs around $20 to $25, making it an affordable addition to your toolkit or even a great gift idea for any gardener. With too many flowering perennials and several gardens dedicated to cut flowers, herbs, and veggie plants, a small pair of snips for deadheading and harvesting is just what I needed. From trimming the spent stems of perennial salvia to harvesting a little fresh cilantro, these 6-inch pruning scissors from Fiskars have been a great find. They even come with a small sheath for the sharp end, which I have, of course, already lost. I can't seem to keep track of pruners or gloves to save my life. And these were only about $12, so if I lose them too, they won't be expensive to replace. To keep myself a bit more organized, I received this hyper tough tote as a gift, and boy does it work. There are side pockets for my snips, a safe spot for an old knife to help open bags of mulch and soil, and a spot for my garden wire spool. Oh, that's another thing I suggest always having on hand, as some taller plants such as dahlias and foxgloves often need staking. I can carry it around or transport it on 4 wheels, so my tools are always nearby when I need them. One of my favorite recent finds is this pair of battery-powered electric pruners. I honestly don't know how I ever lived without them. Even though I still own a pair of hand pruners, I rarely use them because these are not only much easier to use, they're actually kind of fun. They're surprisingly powerful and can quickly tackle those woody stems on panicle hydrangeas that I cut back every spring and these oak branches that grew so much they were hitting me in the head as I mowed. Plus, the automatic shutoff safety feature gives an extra peace of mind when I put them down. Mine were a special deal from Menards, which I believe is mostly a Midwest chain, but the various models available online all seem quite similar in design and function. Most sets also come with 2 batteries, although my first battery lasted more than 2 months with almost weekly use. Speaking of pruning, sometimes a job requires a bit more than a pair of pruners, powered or not. For those larger branches or even cutting down an entire tree, a mini chainsaw is my tool of choice. I'm just not a fan of bulky, loud, and smelly gas-powered tools, but I do like being able to tackle tougher garden jobs myself, including cutting larger branches. I'm a Ryboi girl, as my husband and I seem to have collected quite a few of their tools for both the garden and the garage, so I went with Ryboi for this one to use the batteries I already had from my other tools. But just like with the pruners, there are plenty of mini chainsaws on the market that work just as well. After all of that trimming, I'm bound to have some debris to clean up. These collapsible, almost hamper-like garden bags can be stored flat and out of the way until they're needed. They work well for branches, weeds, leaves, late-season garden cleanup, and even toys from the yard. The internal spring pops them open when they're ready to be used, and the sturdy handles are helpful for carrying and unloading. Plus, they're tear-resistant and mildew-resistant, so they hold up really well season after season. My next pick is these almost odd but very practical fabric grow bags. I can no longer grow in the ground because of nearby black walnut trees making the soil toxic, so these grow bags have become one of my favorite ways to grow above ground. Most importantly, these grow bags prevent circling roots. This produces a denser, more fibrous root system that can better absorb water and nutrients. Plus, there is little to no risk of plants becoming root-bound. They do tend to dry out faster than other types of containers, but we're watering almost every day anyway, right? At the same time, they can also help prevent overwatering because they drain so well. This is great for tomato plants. With over 3,000 5-star reviews, I don't think I'm the only one who likes these. This spring, I replaced my wooden raised beds with these lightweight but sturdy metal raised beds. I was surprised at how affordable they were. They were very easy to put together, included a liner to keep the soil tidy, and the weather-resistant coating is holding up nicely. I've planted just about everything in here, including zinnias, dahlias, cucumbers, and herbs. I really like the elevated height, especially during planting time, as it saves my back, and the generous size allows me to plant multiple plants in the same space. It's a great way to companion plant. They took a lot of soil to fill, so this year I experimented with filling the bottom third of the bed with inexpensive pine bark mulch, and the top with a good potting mix. When I worked at the garden center, our planting mix for shrubs and perennials consisted of peat and pine bark, so I'm hoping this works out, plus it saved me a lot of money. With so many brands and types of potting soil on the market, it's hard to know which one to buy and which one will give you the best blooms and harvest. I tried 4 different brands of potting mix just this spring, but I didn't like most of them. Some were woody, some were almost sandy, and one was pretty nice, but way too pricey for my liking. So I went back to the tried and true Pro Mix to fill my beds, since I was starting from scratch and had to fill those metal raised beds. These big bales are actually compressed, so the 2 cubic foot size on the bag expands to almost 4 cubic foot of soil, making it an affordable choice when you have large spaces to fill. It's nice and fluffy with no twigs or filler, and it seems to hold water well. My dahlias, herbs, and tomatoes so far seem to be very happy in it. For fertilizer, I've really been liking the results from Espoma's Biotone Starter Fertilizer. I drop a little bit in the hole for everything I plant. I've always been a big fan of Espoma because I prefer granular fertilizers. I don't have to mix anything. It's affordable and comes in either small bags or larger sizes for bigger gardens. The resealable waterproof bag is also a big plus. It's also packed with beneficial fungi called mycorrhizae that work in partnership with plant roots. And it's organic. The only problem is that my golden retriever tries to eat it every time I put it on the ground. It contains bone meal, so I'm not surprised. My half moon edger is another one of my favorite tools. I have a lot of garden beds, honestly too many to keep up with, but one thing I always prioritize is a clean, neat edge between the mulch and the grass. This razorback edger is about 2 years old now, but it's still sharp enough to cut through turf and create that crisp, clean line I like. The curved blade also makes it easy to form smooth, flowing edges along the garden beds. It's a really comfortable length for me too. Some edgers are just too short, but this one feels just right. And for reference, I'm only 5'4". As promised, this last item isn't necessarily for the garden itself, but for the birds and other critters that visit my bird bath. Plus, this little disc, just a little over $10, saves me a lot of time. The copper disc acts like nature's own filter, helping to keep the water cleaner and reducing that slimy green algae buildup. So instead of scrubbing, I'm just dumping the old water and refilling it with fresh. It's not compatible with every bird bath, depending on the material it's made from. So be sure to check the link in the description and read through the details before deciding if it's right for you. That wraps up my list of garden products I generally think are worth the money. These are tools and supplies I keep reaching for because they make gardening easier, more efficient, and honestly just more enjoyable. If you want to check out any of the items I mentioned, I've left links in the description for easy reference. And I'd love to know what's one garden tool or product you can't live without. Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching and happy gardening!